Hi guys, welcome back to the Suzuki GS 750 calf racer build. As I mentioned last episode, we were going to look into the frame modifications which I've done to the bike and also the engine install. However, putting the video together, it just became a mass epic film, so I've just decided to split it in two and we'll look at the engine install this week. So what I'll do, I'll put a bit more information into this video. I think a lot of people are going to find it helpful because there's no use of a jack or a crane. Primarily it's centered around an engine jig, we'll call it. So I'll put diagrams of that in, so hopefully that'll be helpful to you all. And yeah, we'll follow on from there. We'll look at the frame following week, I guess. So let's get into this. One more thing before we get started. If you guys are enjoying this build series, I know it's in the early stages. However, if you could just hit that subscribe button, it just lets me know that you're enjoying the series. As I said, it's very early, but if you're enjoying it, it just fires me up to continue making these episodes. And yeah, it's greatly appreciated. Thank you for those who've watching it so far. Very much appreciated. Okay, so let's get into this. So right hand side of the engine, quite an important part is a base plate that's going to run completely underneath the bike. So this is just a bit of 22mm MDF board. It's quite sturdy. This is required to screw the right hand engine mount jig to. It's going to stop the engine kind of flopping around and take a lot of the weight. So if I bring the jig in now, we can have a quick look. So basically it's just crafted out a bit of old stud timber, a bit more of this MDF board and just a kind of foot plate. So this was screwed in, and as you can see here we've got the engine mount bolts. So the way these work, we take out this bolt here and this one here, and this whole piece just threads into the engine. Obviously the exhaust system has to be removed so we can get right close up to the engine, hence this scalloped out part here. The way I got the exact locations for these bolts was to take this bolt and this bolt out and just thread a bolt into this kind of socket or hole, whatever, and just paint a bit of Tipex on or paint and just re-thread it out until it's touched the board, and then you've got your kind of locations. It's not exact, but it's good enough. So yeah, that's the right hand side. So this side is always going to stay fixed. So as soon as this is into the engine, that's going to stay locked, and then we can secure it to the baseboard. The left hand side of the bike now, and if I focus in, we can see the location of the left hand engine mount. This is where the jig will locate into. You can also see as well the base plate that runs completely through from the underside of the bike. What I'll do now is bring in the engine jig. So we just slide this in and that bolt will just slot into the engine mount. This jig will never be bolted in place as we're transferring weight from this to the block or whatever we've got holding underneath the sump. So yeah, this has got to freely move, and whatever blocks underneath has got to freely move. Now obviously there's got to be a bit of a weight lifting involved to transfer from one to the other. So the way I just got around this was just a pry bar, just to lever it from one to the other. So just stick it underneath the block, lift it up, take the weight and swap it over. And yeah, that's how I got around it. So yeah, you'll see this all in the footage that I'll put in, and hopefully you'll get a better idea of how it's achieved. So we begin the engine install with the left hand engine mount jig removed and the block installed underneath the sump. We can then move the frame over the engine up to the central block and then reinstall the left hand engine mount jig. With the left hand jig in place, we can remove the central block and then push the frame further over the engine. We can now install the central block on the inside of the frame and remove the left hand jig. This will enable us to move the frame further over the engine. So this should be our final location for the frame. At this point we can install the left hand jig, and with some final fettling we can install the upper, front and rear engine mount bolts. That's the engine install bit. As you can see from the footage, there's a lot of up and down, it's quite heavy on your legs, but at the end of the day you're able to fit an engine by yourself. You may think that there's a lot of work involved just to get an engine out, with making the jig and the base plate and all that, but I mean, I've had this engine out a couple of times now and it just helps me out. I have got people around me to help me move the engine in and out, but sometimes I just want to get on with the job, and it's just a lot simpler. So yeah, I hope you find that beneficial. Please subscribe if you're enjoying the content, and I will see you next time. Let's get into this. 750 calf racer build. As you can see, the engine. Three, take one.